Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all doing well. Let's talk about silicone inlays. Ammonite silicone inlays. Now, most of you will have heard of Resin. He is a resin artist here on YouTube. He now makes molds. Well, if you've been with me more than a year, you'll remember these. I asked Chris's permission to actually use the mold that he sent me to make my own silicone inlays, and it was such a success. I was like, you need to start making the inlays because these are amazing. Well, he started making the inlays several months ago and he sent me a whole pack. Now, Resin stroke Chris is now Red Hot Moulds on Etsy. I'm going to link everything down below for you. This video is not sponsored, guys, but Chris did send these to me as a gift months ago, and I'm so sorry it's taken me so long to get around to using them, but we're on oceans now, so you know these are found in water which leads to oceans, right? So that's my excuse. We're gonna shove them right in the middle of our ocean series. They are gorgeous. He sent me the whole set, so anything from the teeny tiny thin ones right up to the fat chunky ones. These are inlays from his own design. I have some new resin to play with, guys. Just for you online, sent me their entire range. This is their Apex Fast Cure 2 hours. 2 hours. Shut the front door. What? I have never heard of an epoxy resin curing in 2 hours, so I'm going to play with it, have a play, see how we get on. I'm going to be using open bezels, resin tape, of course, PPE. If you've been with me a while or if you're new here, I am very much a PPE advocate. I'm all about using that protection. Now, resin tape. Guys, again, I did this in the last video, but massive shout out to the person who gave me this tip. I mean, how much of a game changer is it? I don't know why I didn't think of it. Fold the edges over and you can work with your tape as much as you need to. And I'm not sticking to it every 2 seconds. Right, I did pour my resin in. Now this resin is measurable 1:1. I mixed it up and I did get quite a few bubbles. But because it was a brand new resin, I didn't quite know what it was like. When I use this in the future, I'm definitely going to put part A in a hot bath for 5 minutes just to try and reduce some of those bubbles. Because it's a fast cure resin, you don't get much work time. Now, what I'm doing here is very similar to the cling film technique, the polyurethane sheet technique. I'm going to lay my ammonites down into this resin and just leave them there. Just leave them sitting there, allow this resin to fully cure, pretty much in the same way as you would your cling film technique. And that is it. We shall see how they come out. This was about 3 hours later. I had things to do, but 3 hours and they are done. Look at this. Oh my gosh, so pretty. The one in the middle meet Mr. Maggot, okay? We have a maggot or a caterpillar, whichever way round you want to think about it. It didn't quite work out. Obviously, that center part of the Ammonite inlay just didn't quite touch the resin. But again, hey, listen, whoever thought of putting a maggot in an open bezel, I'm here for you. You know, I'm here for you. Now, similarly to the cling film technique, because we've pushed things in, that means we've pushed the resin out. So there was a bit of spill off that I was able to just carve off with my craft blade. So you might find that this happens to you as well. And there's no real way of getting around that. The bezels are so shallow. Anything that you lay in to your resin, it's going to push the resin out and over the edge. But just trim it off and do what you can to get rid of the excess. Next up, we are going to dust these with the chameleon powders from Let's Resin. You all know how much I love the chameleon powders. They're just absolutely gorgeous. I'm using blue because again, this is oceans and you do find rocks near the ocean with ammonites inside. To top these off, I am going to be using the black polyurethane polycraft from I Love Mixed Media. Now guys, everything you see in this video, so the Just For You online, they have given me a code for you guys, okay? They've given me a code. There is a discount code in the description box for your Just For You online Apex resins. I also have a discount code here for Let's Resin in the description box below. The black polyurethane can be found at I Love Mixed Media, and there is a discount code for you on that as well down below. The bezels, the resin tape, that is all in my Amazon storefront, all linked below. So do check out my description box. I am now going to top these. These came away from the tape so beautifully. I'm going to give them a domed finish using the Apex UV resin. Now, I actually did this once and the sun set my resin before I even had a chance to fully disperse that resin throughout the surface of my pieces. So that is why it's a bit of a weird setup there. I had a piece of paper trying to block the sun and trying to do it kind of half in the shade. I love these. I even kind of like Mr. Maggot in the middle. I feel like he needs two little animated eyes. Who's with me on that one? Let me know your thoughts. I'm glad I went with the blue. The blue chameleon powder is just spectacularly stunning. It's one of my favorites, and it hasn't got that much chameleon in it, if I'm honest. It's just a beautiful powder. The next one we're going to try, it's kind of like the reverse. So instead of placing our ammonites down in clear resin, we're going to place our ammonites down in the black resin and then top coat with clear, not back coat with black. Does that make sense? I don't, we'll see. We'll show you anyway. But anyway, right. So this mold here is by Moulds and Shapes. It is their pendant mold. Again, linked below with your discount code. The black polyurethane I've just mentioned, I'm going to actually make the base layer black polyurethane. We're going to have a play the other way around just to see what kind of effect we can get and whether they actually, it won't be similar because one will be inverted and one will be extroverted. I don't know, guys, help me out. I need a thesaurus. How many times have I said this? I need a dictionary. Maybe I should start reading a dictionary. Okay, the black polyurethane, we stir this for 20 seconds. I did not cut anything out of this video. That was real time, me stirring the black polyurethane. It's part A, part B, measurable by weight. Stir for 20 seconds. That is all you get because this stuff cures in 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Again, this is not an epoxy. This is polyurethane. So all I'm doing here is filling up my pendant mold from Moulds and Shapes. Now, the top three that you can see right in the center of the screen, they are the three that we're going to use. I haven't filled them right to the very top because I'm going to be laying our inlays in there. And the beauty of this mold is that my inlays fit properly fit. Another little tip for you, alcohol, 99% isopropyl alcohol, great with polyurethane. Oh my goodness me, it gets out every bubble. Now, I thought I'd have some fun. Instead of just laying my inlays down and making them almost like a kind of a gothic kind of ammonite pendant, I figured I would dust the inlays with some gold powder. Now, this is really intense gold. This is not mica, this is just gold powder for resin, and I've dusted the ammonites. I do not care if these are central. I'm just placing them down where they fall. Where they fall is where they stay. I can't mess around with this because I've already dusted them with powder. I don't really have any wiggle room to move them around at all. On this final inlay, I decided to go with blue again because, guys, if you don't know, it is my favorite color. And I didn't even clean the brush. I thought blue and gold work. If any of that gold comes off, then it's just all gonna work anyway and just be even more beautiful. Now, again, these are the two smaller inlays from the set from Chris over on Etsy, and they fit perfectly inside these pendants. Now, with the bigger inlays, they don't exactly fit. So we might just be lucky enough to get our little maggot, a little brother, because the bigger inlay didn't quite fit. So we have to kind of rely on it being on its side. This is 20 minutes later. 20 minutes. It's time to peel these out and look at these. Oh my goodness me. I am so in love. Please tell me what it is about ammonites. They are just one of the most beautiful architectural miracles. I mean, yeah. So Mr. Maggot has a brother. It did not work again. Obviously, the Ammonite is too big for this mold, but now it just looks like a smiley face. I don't know. We're not going to be focusing any more attention on Mr. Maggot's brother, unfortunately. Now, you did see there when I pulled out the Ammonite inlays, obviously air had got underneath. I didn't lay them in by bending them. I just literally flopped them in. So I would definitely do a few things differently next time. I would just try and get some resin on the inside, on the belly of them, even pouring a little bit of that black polyurethane on the Ammonite and then flipping it upside down just to try and avoid that middle pocket. But I did go over it with another dash of the gold powder in the hope that it wouldn't float, that I wouldn't get a foggy top coat. I did have to brush away most of the excess, just trying to make sure that we don't get that gold powder floating up and into the clear. Again, I am top coating with the UV resin from Just For You Online, all linked below. Now, my initial thought was just to fill up the Ammonite, because I thought that would be really cool, just to fill up that Ammonite section with a bit of a dome. But honestly, as soon as one drop seeped out, it was game over, and I did need to top coat the entire pendant with the UV resin. And that's okay, because, you know, when we create, things happen and you just go with the flow and hope for the best. And oh my goodness me, I love them. I love them. I love them. Did I mention that I love them? The blue. Oh my gosh, guys, the blue. Now, a couple of things to note. Not the best way round to do it. So because I added the powder in, and of course some of that powder would have got on the back, there was definitely some powder that leaked up and rose up through, and we kind of have a foggy top coat. Now, I'm not angry about it. I actually think it adds to this rustic kind of appearance, but if you wanted crisp, clean, neat edges, this might not be the best way around it. And also not forgetting we have those big hunky kind of air pockets in the center, which I did fill in with powder, which would have contributed to the fogginess. So as much as I love them, they're definitely not as crisp and as clean as the actual, as this one. They're not as crisp and clean. Obviously, we've got the concave. What's the opposite of concave? Oh my goodness me. We've got the what's the word, guys? Help me out. Tell me what the difference is between the two. One's in, one's out. That's it. One is in and one is out. Let me know which ones you prefer, whether you like these pendant ones where we laid the Ammonite down into the polyurethane, or whether you like the actual open bezel ones where we laid the inlays down onto clear resin and backed in the polyurethane. I know which one I prefer, and I think it's the open bezels. Even Mr. Maggot, like even little Mr. Caterpillar is kind of cute in a weird Halloweeny freaky kind of way. But let me know your thoughts on these. Let me know which one you prefer. Thank you so much to Chris, who is Resin Ace here on YouTube, who is now on Etsy selling incredible molds over at Red Hot Moulds. I am going to link his Etsy store down below as well. But please, guys, do not forget, everything you've seen in this video, it is all down below. All of your discount codes for everything you've seen, and my Amazon storefronts will show you the resin tape, the open bezels, anything to do with UV resin. It's all in my Amazon storefront. I hope you've enjoyed this one. It's a little bit ocean, but it's a little bit more like tributary, you know, like rivers, river rocks. I will see you in the next video. Bye.